Hi, I'm Dr. Russ Wallers in the Miller College of Business at Ball State University. I'd like to welcome you to Marketing 300 Online Marketing Principles. I've put together a short video to introduce myself and introduce the course. We will talk briefly about our course plan, discuss some of the ground rules for the class, and then we will take a look at our Blackboard site, which will serve as our communication tool for the course throughout the semester. I am on the marketing faculty within the Department of Marketing and Management. My office is in WB 313. I know some of you aren't on campus, some are. If you need to get in touch with me personally, feel free to drop by the office. Otherwise, I've listed my phone number and my email address. I try to be as accessible as possible, so if you have any issues that we need to discuss, feel free to contact me and I'll get back as soon as I can. To start us off, let's talk just a minute about marketing. This is a marketing course, marketing principles. And I think we could all agree that virtually all organizations are driven by three basic functional areas. A production or operations area that has to do with manufacturing a product or service. Secondly, a financial function which has to do with providing working capital to keep the organization viable. And finally, a marketing function which has to do with moving goods and services from the producer to the consumer and all of the activities that entails. All three of these functional areas are equally important and are synergistically interrelated, as we'll see as we go through the course. So this is a course on marketing. We'll stress the marketing principles and practices, but also keep in mind that marketing is interrelated very highly with financial and production issues. We'll point a lot of those examples out as we go through the class. Marketing 300 Online is organized on a very specific timeline that will guide us through the 5-week summer term. Each weekly learning module consists of assigned components, and we'll see these on the Blackboard site. These assignments will touch on some video content. There will be reading material from the text. We will have practice quiz material for each text chapter, and we'll also tackle some discussion issues and discussion questions that tie in with our reading material. We will have 5 exams throughout the term over specific chapters, and then at the end of the term we'll have a comprehensive final exam to wrap all this material up. So that's our plan in that regard. As far as our text, we will be using a text entitled Basic Marketing 18th Edition by Peralt, Cannon, and McCarthy. This is published by McGraw-Hill. Each student will also need Connect Plus, which is a ancillary software package available from the bookstore or directly from McGraw-Hill, either separately or bundled with an ebook. The text and Connect Plus ordering information can be found on the course syllabus. The text is available bundled with Connect, and Connect is available separately for those wishing to purchase a used text. We are using the 18th edition of Basic Marketing. However, the 17th edition would be acceptable for class use. If you do opt to use the 17th edition, however, be cautioned that the chapter sequence is different across the 17th and 18th edition, so you'd have to pay particular attention to the topics that we're covering and make sure you adjust accordingly. Preferably the 18th edition would be the text to purchase. This course is an online course and as such has the potential to be somewhat faceless and impersonal. And we'll try to address that or compensate for that by tossing out some discussion questions with the idea that we can establish some dialogue and try to engage each other in that respect throughout the term. So hopefully that will make the class a little bit more personal, even though it is an online class. If at any point during the term you have questions, comments, or concerns, do not hesitate contacting me either by email or phone. I'm accessible and I'll respond to either your phone messages or email as soon as I can. Comments, concerns, and suggestions are always welcome in this course. In terms of ground rules, I thought we'd cover a couple issues that are important to go through. First, each student is expected to thoroughly familiarize him or herself with the syllabus posted on the Blackboard site. Everything is there. Make sure you read that over carefully. Assignments for each weekly module are clearly posted on Blackboard under the Course Content menu. We'll go through the Blackboard site in a couple of minutes and you'll see where that is. We will move at a very rigorous pace throughout this term. Each student is cautioned to keep current with all assigned activities. In effect, we're taking a 15-week semester term and compressing it down to 5 weeks. So because of that, we're going to move at a very fast rate. So make sure that you keep up. That's very important. Deadlines for assignments in each weekly learning module are clearly listed and will be strictly enforced. Late work will not be accepted, and there won't be any exceptions to that. We have to keep to our schedule. The grading policy is found in the syllabus, and that's posted on the Blackboard site, so make sure you familiarize yourself with that. And other than that, I think we can all agree that responsible behavior is reasonably expected, and academic dishonesty will simply not be tolerated. So we're operating under the honor code in this class, so please keep that in mind. It is very important to thoroughly read the syllabus posted on our course Blackboard site. Make sure you're familiar with the syllabus. Having successfully completed an Econ prerequisite course is mandatory for enrollment in Marketing 300. So if you've had the basic Econ course, probably Econ 116 or 201, you're in good shape. You have to have had a prerequisite Econ course. If you have a disability for which some type of accommodation is needed, please make this need known. Refer to the syllabus and policy information found in the student handbook if you have any questions on that. But if you do have a need in that regard, we'll do everything we can to accommodate that. At the risk of belaboring the point, deadlines for each weekly module are prominently listed in both the course content area on Blackboard and the course schedule material, which is also found on Blackboard. Understanding and adherence to these deadlines is each student's responsibility. I can't impress upon each of you enough that we are moving at a fast pace. We've got a lot of material to cover. The material is not difficult. In fact, it's quite enjoyable. A lot of the examples are quite interesting. So I don't think the pace itself will be boring by any means, but we do have to keep on our timeline. So please make sure that you keep pace with the course. So I think that takes us through a discussion of the course plan and the ground rules. So let's take a quick look at the Blackboard course that we've set up for this particular class. Okay, we're looking at the course Blackboard site for the Marketing 300 online course. Since you're pre-enrolled in this course, all you need to do to find this page is go to Blackboard and select Marketing 300 for the summer term, and the landing page is the announcements page, which you see in front of you right now. Anytime there's an announcement to be made in the class, if there are updates, I will post those on the announcements page and send out a mass email to alert you to the fact that there's something to look at. So if we scroll down the announcements page, this is basically a welcome to the class, and let me point out a link at the bottom. There's a link entitled Student Profile Questionnaire. This is a brief survey. Just take you a couple minutes to answer the questions that are intended to help me get to know the class a little better. So if you would please click on that link, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's scroll back up to the top. In the upper left-hand corner of our Blackboard site, this is the menu, and each of these links will take us to a separate important part of the Blackboard site. The second link from the top is contacts, and there's some information, brief bio on myself if you're interested. The next link down is the course schedule link. I've included a detailed schedule for each of the 5 weekly modules that take us through the term, module 1 through 5, and under each module there's a list of learning activities that are assigned that you need to work your way through, followed by the appropriate deadline for that particular week. So you have the schedule right now under this schedule link, so make sure that you're familiar with that. The schedule is also showed elsewhere on the Blackboard site, and I'll point that out when we get to that link. The next link under schedule is syllabus, and I've placed the syllabus on that link. If you wish to download the syllabus, you can download a PDF of the syllabus to print out, and it's also shown here. Basically goes through the entire course as far as everything you need to know: course objectives, textbook, grading, grading scale, grading policy, and so forth. So please make sure that you're familiar with this course syllabus, and if you do have any questions, make sure that you let me know, and I'll try to clarify any questions you may have as best I can. So that is the course syllabus. Let's go back to the menu. Under the course syllabus link, you'll see a link entitled Course Content, and that link is pretty much where all the action is for the class. So let's click Course Content, and that opens this page, and you'll see at the top there's an additional link to that student profile questionnaire and a link to the welcome message, which you're currently viewing. And underneath that there is a section for each of the 5 weekly modules: module 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 5. So there's a weekly module for each week. Let's go back to the top. Here we are at module 1, week of May 13th. Under each module, I've listed a set of learning objectives and issues that the reading material for that particular module covers. Seems like a fairly ambitious list, but you have to remember that we're compressing a 15-week semester into a 5-week summer term. So as you read through the material, you'll be touching on each of these issues, so it's really not quite as ambitious as it might look. Notice also that there is a due date at the bottom of each of the modules that indicates when the assignments for that particular weekly module are due. In this case, module 1 for the week of May 13th, all of the assignments for that module are due no later than 11:59 on May 19th. So let's click the folder link for module 1 and open that up to give us some idea of what we're in store for. For each module, this is just happens to be in module 1, I've listed a set of learning activities that are assigned for each module. In this module, you are responsible for completing the following learning activities. I've listed these learning activities in what I think would be a logical sequence. You can attack these any way you want. I think if you work your way from top to bottom, that would probably make the most sense. In looking at the learning activities for each module, you'll find a collection of several types of activities. There are videos to view, chapters to read, and then for each chapter I've included a practice quiz, And the practice quiz consists of multiple choice questions that are designed to help you review the material and also help you prepare for the exams that we'll have throughout the course. So I'd strongly recommend that you take the practice quizzes. There are points assigned for completing those, so they're part of the grading structure. So if you work your way down through this list, that'll take you down to the last item, which says respond to Module 1 discussion board question. See the link below. You can scroll down to that link, or you can go to the discussion board link over in the menu. Let's do that very quickly. For each of the learning modules, there's a discussion question. And for Module 1, we would go to question 1. And there's a discussion question that I'd like each of you to respond to for each of the 5 learning modules. There would be 5 questions, one corresponding to each weekly module. So hopefully those discussion board questions will stimulate some discussion and discourse that we can use to share ideas. So let's go back to the first learning module again. I'm going to go back to the course content and click again on Module 1. So we're back to where we were before. In this particular module, there are 5 chapters, and there will be an exam link that I will add prior to the date that that exam is due. And again, there's a deadline. Take exam 1, covering chapters 1 through 5, no later than May 19th at 11:59. So for each module, I've done my best to make sure that there's no question about when each of the assignments and exams are due. So again, we have a list of learning activities that are part of the module, and then if you scroll down a bit, I've listed some optional enrichment video content. There are some additional videos that are quite good, actually. And the last 2 videos in this list, let me point those out. Narrated lecture supplemental material. First one's entitled Introduction, Marketing's Role Within the Organization and the Global Economy. The second narrated lecture is entitled Target Marketing Opportunity Analysis, Segmentation and Positioning. Anytime you see a narrated lecture, which is parenthetically shown as a supplemental material item, if you go back to the menu where the cursor is currently pointing, it's entitled Supplemental Course Material. Let's open that up briefly. Under the Supplemental Material area, there's a folder entitled Narrated Lecture Material. And I'll open that. And in this folder, there are a series of lectures provided by the textbook authors. And these are basically narrated PowerPoint slide presentations that correspond to the chapters indicated. So for instance, the first narrated lecture, Marketing's Role Within the Organization and the Global Economy, relates to chapters 1 and 2. This is not intended to be a substitute for reading the chapter material by any means, but if you listen to these narrated lectures, it gives you a very good overview of the chapters, and it's a great supplemental tool to use to help your learning. Okay, so let's go back to the course content for Module 1. Again, at the top, just to review, we've got the weekly learning activities, deadline for our exam, enrichment video content, and then underneath that I've included a link for each of the learning activity assignments shown above, so it just makes it easier to reduce the navigation burden here. So for instance, let's go back to the top. View video Introduction to Marketing. And this is by our author, William Perrault. The second video is one that I put together, just called a video overview. So if you scroll down, you'll see those two videos listed. So to view those videos, just click the link. And there's a chapter overview for each of the chapters in our course that I've put together. The chapter overviews are basically overviews of the material in the chapters. I'm asking everyone to please view those because they provide an overview of the chapter material, and they also include some material that's not in the text. So I think you'll find those useful for purposes of preparing for the exams. And here you see the practice quizzes. In this particular learning module, you have Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the optional videos are shown at the bottom of the page. So that's pretty much the layout for the course content. And again, the discussion board questions for each of the 5 weekly learning modules is shown both at the bottom of the module page and also on the discussion board questions link. And that pretty much walks us through the Blackboard site. I will do my best to make sure that the grades for the quizzes and the exams are summarized on the Blackboard Grade Center. And to get to that, to check your grade in progress, if you go to the My Grades link, that will take you to a summary of the grades that you've currently completed, grades for the assignments that you've currently completed. So that's our Blackboard site. We've done our best to make sure that it's as easy as possible to navigate. Again, make sure that you keep track of the schedule. This is printable. If you want to print this out, you can print a PDF of the entire course schedule. And once again, for each of the 5 learning modules, the deadlines for each week are shown in red at the bottom of that weekly module. So everything is here, and I hope you'll find this easy to use, and we will conclude looking at the Blackboard site. Again, if you have any questions at all about any of the content of the Blackboard site or any of the content of the syllabus or the course schedule, make sure that you let me know, and I'll address your questions as best I can. Well, I think that pretty much concludes our introductory video. We've talked about our basic course plan. We've covered some of the ground rules for the class. We've taken a look at the navigation of our Blackboard site that we'll use as our communication tool for the course throughout the semester. So that should put us in pretty good shape to start the class. So I'd like to impress on everyone once again that if you have any comments or questions or suggestions or concerns, whatever, as we go through the class, that you feel free to drop me an email, give me a call. If you are on campus close to the business building, stop by. I'm in WB313 and be glad to chat. So I hope everyone has a great summer term. Be careful out there, and we'll see you soon online. Thank you.